I don't know what I've done with my rock. I think I lost it.
Where was it last?
I don't know.
Oh.
Would you lose?
My rock from the beach.
Oh.
I don't know where I put it.
He told me I didn't want to tell. He told me not to. He told me that he hates you and he took a bus to California.
Oh, he packed up and left.
Yeah, he packed up and left.
Not that rock.
Yep. Yeah, sometimes, man, you really just don't know.
It's not the rock I'm looking for.
It's time to Greyhound. Everybody ready?
Yeah, I'm ready whenever.
All right.
Yeah, I'm good.
Hello, everyone. My name is Cameron Cowan. This is the Living Joke Podcast. We have an action-packed show for you today. We are going to talk about Battlefield 6, which is good because I am slightly under the weather today, and I don't have to talk about that one. Then we're going to talk about the use of ChatGPT and if AI is making everyone crazy, and some of the things that I use AI for in my business. And then we're going to wrap things up with something. What did we say here? I have a script. Oh, yes.
The Matrix.
That's right. Then we're going to talk about Will saw The Matrix for the first time, and we had lots of chat on that. So, without further ado, let me get the guys in here. There we are.
Hello.
And yes, hello. So, I don't have any clever news stories to start us off with ahead of Battlefield 6, but I did I have been enjoying the I don't know if you've seen any of these, but there's now become this tradition of sororities on college campuses doing these dance routines as recruitment videos and everything, and they've been posting all those around, and the the way different people talk about them is quite entertaining, and especially the dialogue that's been going on Twitter has been most entertaining. So it's the one I enjoy the most is when someone from the right usually says, "Oh, when will the liberals be happy with not losing?" And I've never seen a leftist account talk about it once, which I thought is always very hilarious. Because I'm like this, but they're not even like no one's mad about it. Like no one cares, like sort of thing. So yeah, that's been, not everything has to be a culture war front. But that's been most entertaining. So, how we doing, guys? How are things going?
Doing well.
Good.
I just got in from outside, actually.
I heard you were mowing the lawn.
Yeah, I was weed eating and wanted to get it done before the rain. And then I panicked and thought I was late, so I fucking flew up here. And then Connor's like, "No, bro, it's only 3."
Yep.
Yeah.
Just one of those days, you know? But otherwise, all good.
No, it's okay. I had the opposite problem. I actually conquered my email box entirely today. Like everything is out in a folder, all solved and everything. And I was digging into another big project that actually has to do with AI. We'll come back to it. And then I was like, "Oh, it's 3:30. Don't I have something? Oh, right. It's almost 4 o'clock. I got to turn on the stuff and everything." So I was I was trying to find a shirt and put my face on and all this sort of thing. So I get it. Connor's lost his rock. I thought he said a clock, not rock, the first time. But
Clock
it's
Could have
sound
sounded like a lot of things.
cock
yes.
sound at the end.
Yeah, I'm like that. That yeah. I also thought that he said he'd lost his cock as well, and I'm kind of like, well, I would check its usual location. It tends to stay at the same address. It doesn't.
Where
move
was it
around a
last?
lot.
I don't know, Cam.
Like, um,
You
rock.
took your eyes off of it? Are you crazy?
I know.
You should know
Dude,
better.
I don't know, man. We're gonna have to file for joint custody or something.
I have an old friend, and her and I talk a lot about a medical condition from the 18th century called wandering womb. At the time, doctors believed that certain activities could lead to women's uteruses falling out or wandering off or all this type of thing, and it gives me just a vision of, like, the opening scene of, like, Pride and Prejudice with Emma Stone, and then there's just a field of wandering vaginas, just wandering uteri, just wandering around an English moor field. It's like, gotta collect those, ladies, keep track of those.
That's like a whole new meaning to, if it wasn't attached to you, you'd leave it behind.
Indeed.
Could you imagine if you're out at dinner and then your vagina just gets up and leaves?
Right, you're like, I'm bored. We're out of here. Yeah. During the introduction of train travel in the early 19th century, doctors advised women not to travel by train because they thought that at any speed over 20 miles per hour, their uteruses would fall out.
Oh, but really they were just having an orgasm.
Quite possibly for the very first time.
Wow.
Indeed. I mean, women really had the advantage of the 19th century. There were lots of medical conditions for women that the cure was like vaginal stimulation, and so women could literally go to a doctor, like call in sick sort of thing, and get an orgasm. So
yeah, get finger blasted by your physician.
Yeah, or a machine done as the technology advanced. Yeah.
I'm imagining some sort of like egg beater configuration as the motor.
Yeah, something like that. There were as electricity came in, there were various appliances. In the early days, it was a manual operation, and then as the century progressed, it was electric. But yeah,
people were like, "Oh my God, we can use this to light our houses, and it'll heat our food, and blah blah blah." And there were two dudes like, "You know what we're gonna use this for?"
Yeah, exactly. There's a Family Guy bit about Peter being an oil explorer and trying to use an oil well to fuck his wife and kills her and everything. There's a Family Guy bit about that as well. So, yeah, it's fun. We have fun here. So, well, we didn't have a real kind of fun story to start off with, but instead we've had wandering vaginas and and Connor's looking for himself, literally and figuratively.
I got a scooter. I got an e-scooter.
Oh, that is true. That it
been fun.
Arrived. I saw you assembled it. Yes. Have you had a chance to go out on it yet?
Yeah, I've been zooming around. Been zooming around town, and I went like all the way downtown and then all the way up Stanley Street and back, and it only took like half the battery on going 20 miles an hour, so it was pretty good. I was actually genuinely impressed because I thought e-bikes were lame, e-scooters were lame, but this thing's actually really cool. I'm honestly really impressed with it.
Yeah, the having lived in large cities where the e-scooter thing has become more common, I always thought they were fine. The only problem I ever had with them is when you have a city where it's a service and people can just leave them all over, they kind of end up all over and sometimes in trees. And
I thought that was a fun novelty that they have them available, but actually when I lived in Tennessee, because Nashville has that problem, when I lived in Tennessee, there was literally a job posting, and I applied for it, for being the scooter collector. And you go around in the big truck and find the scooters via GPS. I'm like, that sounds like a great job. I love that.
No, when I never really saw one in Seattle because I wasn't out at the early hours or up at that time. But when I lived in Denver, sometimes if I'd gone to an afters and I was driving home at 4:35 o'clock in the morning, you'd see the guy out there with the truck and trailer going around town collecting them kind of from where they shouldn't be and putting them back to more where they should be, sort of thing. Um, so yeah, it's been a whole thing. But good. That's fun. All right. Well, let's dive into Battlefield 6. Now, Will has already played the beta, so this will not be surprising to him. But for the rest of us, I have the trailer queued up here. So let's switch to some video.
Yeah,
I'm
let's
gonna
see this.
save my comments for after everybody else goes.
Let's
All
see
right.
this trailer.
Here we go.
Buildings, tank, guns.
So, for those of you listening only, there's guns, there's shooting, this guy just died, his friend's dead, somebody's yelling at him, there's a tank, the tank just killed them all. The building fell down, there's a guy who just threw a frisbee, now he's hanging his friend by the neck, and then he stabbed him with a knife in the shoulder.
Yeah, for some
This
reason.
guy is this is another dude who's just destroying our own team's base and not hitting a single person. Spawning back to 17th time and having to take a 6-1. He's killed again. Oh god, a drone just flew in and then the whole building exploded. And there's Limp Bizkit playing. And that's really it.
There's a lot going on.
This narration brought to you by YouTube.
Yeah. It's... Oh, okay. A helicopter flies down Madison Avenue.
The guy shot had already blown up helicopter with a shotgun for some reason.
Oh, there goes Tom.
Oh, we're gonna bomb an oil refinery. That's always a good move.
Ace Combat 4. This is Ace Combat 4. Oh, turret section. You know fucking Battlefield's in the fucking shitter when they're using Limp Bizkit for licensed music.
It's very urban warfare, too.
Come and get it! Oh my god, you get the tombstone pack. Holy shit.
So, I mean, what do we think of Urban Warfare COD?
Looks like another shooter with slightly better graphics, maybe than the last shooter. Huzzah! Modern day fucking game
Opa!
design.
Yeah, it's like, oh, just what the world needed. Another game where you play a character dressed up in combat stuff and shoot at things. Although I will admit, I could get into a tank situation. I kind of want
Good
to find
luck.
a tank and start blasting away.
If you can, the only way you can get that is if you're lucky enough to spawn in one.
If you have fun playing these kind of games, it's cool, but the way they... I get it, they're a company. They have to make money. But it's just fucking ridiculous at this point, watching trailers where it's like, it's like, oh, it's supposed to be so hype, oh, brand new shooter. It's like, okay, it's the same thing that we've been doing for 20 years. Oh my god, he hit the floor with a hammer and it broke! How long is our Rainbow Six Siege on that?
Yeah.
Cam, do you have any thoughts on it?
Well, other than the tank idea is kind of cool, or maybe a plane idea would be rather cool, or a helicopter idea. No, I mean, To be honest, these sorts of games are not really my thing. We know this sort of thing. I've not played a bunch of them, so I'm not nearly as jaded, perhaps, as Connor is about the whole thing. But
It's
um,
just about gaming as a whole. It's funny to watch.
well, there is definitely a lack of creativity on that front. You're not wrong, and that goes into even stuff that I like. I've never gone on on a rant about what's wrong with the Civilization franchise. Perhaps I should someday.
Yeah, that could
Because
be a video.
because I've played every version since the original, and the weird offshoot versions, all this type of thing. So I feel that, and especially, and I've played Age of Empires, Empire, Earth. I mean, I am into those sort of strategy games, sort of thing, and they suffer from the same thing. To be kind of like, oh, wow, okay, the lack of creativity here is frightening. Yes, I get that. But no, like, this is the new hype game, so I thought we would talk about it. But no, I don't have any particular thoughts. It looks neat enough. You know, potentially when it actually comes out, I could be compelled to maybe try it. Although I was terrible at CS:GO, so it's probably I'll just get killed in the first 10 seconds. But like, which is true of most things I play. But that's fine. I could be into maybe playing it at some point, but.
I would say you might as well be better off playing CS:GO. CS:GO has better physics.
Yeah.
So the thing I just played the open beta, which is why I saved my thoughts for the last.
Of course.
To be honest, I honestly give it a 5 out of 10. Functionality wise, plays perfectly fine. The controls are tight. Feels good. I would say the guns, even they've got great feedback and recoil, and you really feel like you're actually doing damage when you hit somebody, because of that feedback. So there are some really great things there, but this is basically just every other Battlefield that wasn't Battlefield 1. Like, there's nothing new here. Every game now, Battlefield used to be kind of unique because it had vehicles. Well, now every shooter has vehicles, even Fortnite.
Yep.
Yeah.
So literally that kind of used to be like the catch thing. It's like, oh yeah, but you can be in a tank and it's not a kill streak. And yeah. I hate the bullet physics in that game because they're supposed to be realistic, but they don't feel realistic. Like, it doesn't feel right. Just, I don't know why, as somebody who shoots real guns and who's played a lot of shooters, it just doesn't feel right. Everything else feels good about it, except like the it's just kind of bog standard,
I don't mean to jump in on your point, but I have that
No,
same complaint
please.
about car driving games. I love when they've taken the time to understand the actual car. As someone who's driven racing cars, exotics, and used to deliver cars, and has bought cars and been a stevedore and driven hundreds of different models of cars. I've been playing the Need for Speed Hot Pursuit Remastered on my new Switch, and I enjoy the fact that I can actually tell the difference playing the game between the cars. If it's rear-wheel drive, front-wheel drive, what the acceleration is like, what the cornering is like. Because for years and years and years, driving games never did that. It was basically the same experience with a different skin on top, and now it actually starts to feel... And that game is 5 years old. It actually starts to feel real. I remember the first time years and years ago, I had Gran Turismo and I had a whole setup, wheel, pedals, everything, and I was driving cars I had already driven in life, and it felt the same, and that was a pretty cool experience. So I feel that when you come talk about bullet physics and gun feedback and all that sort of thing, because car games are from the same thing. Anyway, continue.
No, I'm totally on the same page with you about car games. I totally get what you're saying. Personally, with me and all my choices, I can appreciate all the aspects and what people love about other games, because I like a lot of things about other games. When I play video games, I don't want it to be realistic, which is why I play like Need for Speed and like, I don't know, what the hell was that other game? It was called like Split or something, and Split Race or whatever. It was
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, the Twisted Metal, stuff like that. A lot of fun. But yeah, this Battlefield just doesn't. There's nothing special about it. You can drag your teammates if your teammate's down. You can run over, grab them, and pull them behind cover, just like a real military tactical situation. Because in real life, nobody's standing out there completely straight up with their hand out trying to revive their teammate.
Right.
That's not how real life works. So I'm glad they put that in. There are some tasteful choices compared to other shooters that have come out that try to be realistic. Yeah, the other thing, the trailer shows like everybody's working together. It's so tactical, and you can all coordinate and fucking blow up the floor and then all drop in. The reality is much, much, much more disappointing than that. The fact
I mean,
is
that shit's only possible if you've got all your friends on a team and you're playing together and someone's actually coordinating actions.
Yeah,
That's not going to happen in life.
Not to mention, still, even if you have all your friends, your success rate is still pretty low because you never know who you're dropping in on or where their positions are if you're going in blind.
Yeah.
So, success is always going to be a factor, but you're right. You can only really coordinate if you've got somehow a random team of not idiots who all have mics and have more than 20 IQ. Or you have a whole squad of your friends. Yeah. And some squads, the squads are 10 people? Who here has 10 friends who has Battlefield 6 that wants to play it all the time?
Right. Yeah.
No, not me.
We can't. I mean, we don't even consistently have a. I mean, we can field a full Fortnite team, which is 4 most of the time. But when you go to Marvel Rivals, we never have more than 5, and that's with Matt playing, sort of thing.
Yeah, we don't get lucky enough to have a 6th member that has a mic or is one of us.
Yeah. And that like even if we get even just with our group, supposing Nick is online, which is rare, and then Matt's also online, which I think has happened once in the last year. That's as close as it gets, sort of thing, and people don't necessarily know the origin story, but Will and I actually met randomly on PSN and Overwatch in 2018. Completely random, would have never ever had another reason to meet other than we got thrown on a random team together, and I had a mic and we talked, and then started playing together and became friends and have been friends ever since. So it's Connor and I met later. That's another story. But but yeah, that
The last thing I'll say about it is I don't really have much else. Is that you can't. Something that I've always had a problem with, except for Battlefield Frontline, which was the only one that made sense, is you can't spawn on your teammates. So you can spawn on your teammates, but only if they're not in a firefight. So you're trying to help your team in the heat of battle, but you can't deploy on them, even though you're deploying from the sky. It doesn't make any fucking sense as to why they do this. So if your whole team is at point, I don't know, D, and you're at HQ, and you've got to fucking walk or be lucky enough to find a car to fucking run all the way from HQ all the way to point D, and if you don't get killed while on the way there, and then you get killed there, all the way back to HQ, it's you have to fucking run a marathon just to get anywhere, and then by the time you see somebody else this happened to me just the other night, which is why I uninstalled it. I'm like, no, this game fucking sucks. Is you're just in a building and shit's just happening. Somebody blew up a wall across the street from me, and the shrapnel of the concrete went through the wall I was hiding behind and killed me. And you know what? Fuck this game.
It's actually funny when you were talking about having to run all the way back from HQ. That was literally what was happening in the gameplay as you were talking about it. It was so perfect. We did not coordinate that. That just happened to happen.
Yeah, that's half the game. That's half the game. Half the game. Half your match time is running around seeing nobody.
I didn't play the beta or anything, but from by the sounds of what Will has said and my experience with just video games largely throughout my life is that this is a glaring issue in gaming is like the amount you have to do in a game to actually have fun is fucking ridiculous. Or the amount of circumstance you need to happen to have a match where you're like, that was fun and exciting and I enjoyed myself. Like,
Yeah. Yep. It's gaming is not modern gaming. I'm gonna say it. Generally speaking, modern gaming and new AAA releases, it's all trash. It's bog standard. It's not fun anymore. Everything's an open world. Everything has an encyclopedia you got to go to a website and look at because we don't include fucking instruction manuals or tutorials in some of our games. I'm not saying I need a hand-holdy QTE type of game, but I've played all the Souls. I've beaten all the Souls games. I've beaten Bloodborne. I've beaten all the I've Devil May Cry, high skill games my whole life. But Escape from Tarkov is a great example. League of Legends used to be a great example. Because you got to go to a website and look up everything and every single interaction and where to find this and where to find that and blah 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 blah. And then at the end of the season it all goes away and it's like, what the fuck is the time sink for? What is the point of this time sink? It's for nothing.
Yeah, I mean, I think this also kind of brings up something, and ironically, Connor and I were having a little salon about this last night. Is we were talking about how the number of games, especially as an adult with things to do, the number of games that you're willing to sink that level of time into is one, sort of thing. Maybe two if you've just got a lot of time on your hands, and it's always nice when a game doesn't really require that and you can just kind of sit down, play it, and move on without having to go through all of that stuff. Because the reality is, a new game may come out, it may be very interesting and compelling, but if it's a huge time sink, the average actual working adult with things to do is not going to have the time.
Yeah.
I mean, I always joke. I said I was a Guild Wars player for years and years and years and was really into that. And I stopped playing several years ago. And when I started playing Star Trek Online, the only reason I got as far as I did and was able to go as far as it was, one, I had help from great people I met on the game, and for two, I had a month period getting ready for a move where I didn't have a job and I was moving to the East Coast and didn't have a whole lot to do. And I just was able to take a month and just kind of sink into it. But at this stage of the game, I run two businesses. I have to book for our show. I have to book for my show. I have a podcast network to run, and we love to be on the Soupcast network. But there's a lot of shit going on behind the scenes. I don't have the time these days, You just don't. And I realize for a younger audience they do, and that's I think a lot of who these games are for. But I think game companies are leaving behind that adult player who has an hour, maybe two if they're lucky, and just wants to decompress. That's in my mind an underutilized market. And those people have money. There's $1 to be made there for the company that would create something like that. And one of the things I love about a Fortnite is, not that there isn't lore you could dig into, but you don't have to. We can sit down, play 2 rounds, and be done with it. Last night, we cycled through Rocket League, 3 rounds of 4, and 2 Marvel Rivals rounds in an evening, sort of thing.
Yeah.
And,
but those they're all fast. They're all fast. They're quick games.
Yeah.
And they're fun. Even if you lose, you can still have fun because I don't know. I don't even care that much when we lose. Sometimes it's frustrating because your teammates are dumb, but really the matches are over so quickly. It's really not that frustrating.
Yeah.
Same with Fortnite. Same with Rocket League.
I'd rather spend 15 minutes and have fun and lose than spend this is an inside diss, these guys will understand, but spend my fucking life playing Tarkov and then tell myself I accomplished something because I got an in-game suitcase.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
No, I mean that is one of the things I love about STO that Guild Wars never really had is the TFOs, the task force operations, and they're
I hope
short.
you're watching our podcast, by the way, you fucking loser. You know what I'm talking
um, I should send in this episode. And,
Don't antagonize it. I don't want him to show up here again.
no, we're not gonna open that Pandora's box. We're not.
No,
gonna
I know
open
he's
that
not watching. I know they're
firmly
not watching.
shut.
So.
It's firmly shut, and we're gonna keep it that way.
Hey,
But,
you never know.
um,
They probably
I'll
changed their
stop
name
now.
to. All right.
Anyway, I enjoy
Yeah.
the fact that I am able to log in. I can play a couple, have fun blasting stuff in space, and then go have a lie down or whatever have you. Same thing when I play Wheel of Fortune on the Switch. It's not. It is a nice sort of thing because we don't necessarily always have time to do games like that, you know. And I even say that as, you know, we're aspiring professional streamers sort of thing, and it's still, you know. But again, lives, jobs, things to do. So. Anyway,
My favorite
if,
thing is JRPGs, but like, do I really need to play another Do I really need to play Octopath Traveler 2? I really don't. Like, there's so many games that have come out, and they're all, I mean, theoretically, basically the same. You've got turn-based RPGs, the formula doesn't change, it's just a different avatar. But, like, JRPGs are 60 to 120 hour time sink at minimum.
yeah. And the reality is, if you are a working person with a life, it'll take you a year or more to get through all of that, you know, sort of thing. That's actually part of the reason why I kind of quit playing Civilization, is if you're going to do a Civilization game, even if you're moving fairly quickly, you're still in it for 3 or 4 hours, and I don't have that kind of time most of the time. So I have played 6 a little bit, but not as. But I used to do crazy marathon sessions. A rant for another day. Anyway, if you have been listening to us talk about all this stuff and wondering what the hell you've been hearing in the background, I have had live gameplay from IGN playing this whole time. So, if you are an audio-only person and you want to go see us talk about this while Battlefield 6 gameplay is going on in the background, do head over to our Rumble channel, The Living Joke. Or if you're listening to this on the podcast, you can go over to our Substack, thelivingjoke.substack.com, and this post will be first at the top, and you can go watch us talk over the gameplay. But, good. How do we feel about that topic, everybody? Have we flogged it to death?
Great, yeah. Yeah, I think we beat the crap out of it.
Good. So, which is an excellent transition, speaking of crap, excellent transition to our next topic, our next fun topic, which is the Chat GPT situation. And I don't know why I put us back in the triptych, because I have another video about Markiplier using Chat GPT. Oh
Oh
no.
boy. Let's see.
Let's watch. I know, let's watch and we'll talk.
I can't. Hold on. No, I'm just kidding.
Markiplier for something about AI.
Context. He used ChatGPT once and is now getting cancelled.
That's ChatGPT. Hey, what would consume more water? The data centers that power you and your ability to answer my questions, or almond growing in all of California?
Almond farming in California uses significantly more water than data centers.
You're not just saying that because you're ChatGPT and you wouldn't want to be accused of stealing too much water, are you?
Nope.
I don't use ChatGPT. I don't use it because it's dumb. It's fucking stupid, and it started to piss me off. Absolutely. I talked to ChatGPT in that video itself. It was mostly as a bit to showcase how dumb it is. But I understand when even just the mentioning of it could become something that people were offended by. It's like, we're on the same side. We're absolutely on the same side. I confess that I was the first fucking person to be sounding the goddamn alarm that it was bad. I was the first fucking person to say this is honey all over again.
Definitely. People are mad. The entire Markiplier AI controversy just consisted of this interaction, by the way. What is this here? I hate AI. I don't care. The only way to improve it is to fucking get rid of it. He wants to make it better in a scientific way, like detecting breast cancer, not generative AI. And yet he is still using generative AI. He isn't and hasn't for months. You would know this if you watched it. I was under the impression that he had used it recently. Oh, so I was just making things up randomly. There are tons of uses of AI that don't put furry artists out of a job. Generative AI for artistic means is not the only type of AI that's ever been invented. Why are people so against AI? This is the Industrial Revolution 2.0. A lot of people that are artists are against AI because it puts their jobs at risk. People getting mad at Markiplier because of AI. Again, this is another example of teenagers on the internet that are getting mad about things that they don't really get. AI is used for all types of medical advancements and medical detection and stuff like that. Nobody's complaining about that because people don't even know about it. It's a lot more salacious and interesting to talk about AI generating an anime girl with big boobs, but that's not really the only use case for AI. Like, let's.
We were close. We were 10 seconds in. It was a 2-minute clip. The only reason I let it play is I knew it was short, but we can stop.
So-
it's fine.
So let me get this straight. So people are mad that he used ChatGPT because he's wealthy and they're worried that he's going to put deviant art users out of business by promoting AI. Is that what I just heard?
It sounds like there's a pre-story that Markiplier stated maybe that AI being used specifically for that generative content is not good. And now they're mad that he used AI on video, but he wasn't using it to create something.
He asked it a question.
Yeah.
Yeah, let me also maybe interject the Twitter discourse, because I am chronically on Twitter for some reason that escapes even me. So there's been, in digital spaces, a big pushback against anyone who uses generative AI for a lot of reasons. The context of that Markiplier video is one of the arguments against using AI, particularly generative AI, is that it uses a lot of water because the data centers have to be cooled, and they're water cooled, like my gaming computer is water cooled. And so I actually hope that they do more of the ones where they use the water to generate steam, and the heat from the computers makes the steam that powers the data center, so it becomes a closed loop sort of thing. I hope we build more of those. Yeah. It's really cool. And then it sells its excess electricity back onto the grid. But it basically becomes a self-sustaining thing anyway. It uses a lot of water, fresh water that we don't have. That it's putting artists out of jobs. The AI should be doing the tedious tasks humans don't find any joy in doing, not coming for the ones that are. This kind of anti-AI Twitter discourse has been going on since ChatGPT 1.0, and it surfaces at least once a week, if not more often. And so I think a lot of people on the internet, and on Twitter especially, who get into parasocial relationships with streamers and whatnot, were disappointed that one of their idols, who had spoken out previously against AI for all the aforementioned virtue signaling reasons one would be against AI, were mad that he used it in this one instance, and that the cost is so much, and that he's betrayed his values and all this sort of thing. That's kind of the background of the Twitter discourse on AI and what Markiplier stepped in the middle of.
Connor, do you have anything to say?
Well, I just wanted to say, I wanted to put this kind of whole thing to you guys and this whole controversy, because you guys use ChatGPT to look up stuff quite a lot. I'm a little old school. I tend not to use it for search. I use it for many other things. It did fix an SEO issue I had with the Cameron Journal a couple weeks ago. I tend to use it for a lot of kind of more deep work like that. But you guys use it for search a lot. And so I kind of wanted to use this video as a jumping off point to be like, use of AI, good, bad, indifferent, why do you like it for search over Google, how, might all this change and be affected. I just thought I would put this out there, so.
Well, I didn't go to school my whole life for artwork, but I don't think that this is something so new. This technology is not so new that we couldn't have predicted that at some point AI would begin to be able to at least replace certain things that are primarily human function right now. And I had another thought, but I lost it. If you have something to say, Bo, it'll come back to me in a minute.
I would say if you're a deviant artist, and you draw anything other than, I would say, I don't know, anything that isn't like a dude sucking his own dick. You guys, anybody that's making statues like that who's mad about this, 100%, 110% get fucked. I don't think AI is bad necessarily. I use it for search because it's just accurate. You can't search for shit on Google anymore. Google just is bogged down. Like the first like 5 links are all sponsored, and then the last 5 links are all sponsored. And like you do, like it used to be like you could type in whatever you're looking for, comma, minus CNN, minus Fox, minus whatever you didn't want it to search. And now it's just like, oh, well, yeah, just fuck you. We're just going to search for it anyway. So it doesn't work. It doesn't work like it's supposed to anymore. America's most reliable search engine does not work anymore. Their Google AI sucks cock, also gives you dumb answers to shit. The only thing it's like basically useful for is something Google already did, which is it just pulls up the Wikipedia article. That's all the AI is doing. It's reading the Wikipedia, basically. I don't I use it to make some memes sometimes. Like I had it put Mayor Eric Adams' head on a dude who works at Champs because he looks like he belongs there. And he probably should go there after he's thrown out of office if he doesn't hit this quid pro quo shit. But yeah, if you're an artist, I mean, AI art is, I don't know. I don't consider it necessarily real art. It's something a computer made. It's not something, but something a computer made, I mean, could still be considered art. I just think it's a different medium that people are going to be using, and I feel like there's a lot of people in art. It's like a Mean Girls club. Oh no, you can't bring that in. You know, that's against the rules. You can be artistic only in the way we decide. So if you're worried about some dude making AI videos that are going to put you out of business, of like a dude throwing a baby in the ocean and then panning the camera, this is the new thing. It's something ridiculous, right? It's like, I'll just use it. This isn't even a real video. I made that up, that example up. Nobody throws a baby in the ocean. I'm just going to say that. But something ridiculous, like say, like, I don't know, somebody runs over and like it's a video sprinting and then kicking a, oh Jesus.
I'm so sorry. I am so sorry. I was trying to do something, and in the middle of your point,
Okay.
I'm so sorry. I was trying to solve a technical issue. No, yeah, I was trying. I want to run this trailer later, and I was trying to add it, and now yeah.
And now we're all missing.
I know.
Cam has sent us to the shadow realm.
I have, unfortunately.
Now what was I saying?
On.
Because I've completely lost my train of thought.
You were talking about the failures of Google AI search and why you did ChatGPT, and now Google's only reading the Wikipedia article, and ChatGPT is better.
Artists.
Yeah,
I was talking about the artists. Was the last thing.
And the ridiculous AI videos.
Yeah, it's like a dude like sprinting. I saw one actually of a girl getting eaten, quote unquote, by a hippo, and it was like her holding a watermelon, and she holds the watermelon out like she's, I don't know, trying to feed a horse or something, and then the hippo rushes and like fully like engulfs her. But then when it starts to back up, she's just like one of those snakes in a can, scrunchy, like flexible things. And people are like, oh my god, she just got eaten by a hippo, this is so crazy. And it's like, are you people that fucking stupid? Like, obviously it's
Oh,
not
they
real.
are.
And like, it'll be like I said, the example going back to like the dude sprinting and kicking a dog, it'll be like all of a sudden the dog rockets to the moon, and then it pans the camera down, there's a cat, and he's walking up and then flips you off. Like, that's the whole video. Is this really threatening your career?
Yeah, I could see someone who's like a modern day artistic genius being upset about this, but then those aren't even the people that are upset about this because they're too busy with their own work to care.
I mean, there definitely
The
has been a.
people- The people complain. Sorry, Campbell, just to finish
No,
my point. The
continue.
people complaining about this most likely are like what Will said. Your whole art career is smut on DeviantArt or some shit like that.
No, I was about to say, I think the loudest complaints are coming for those who had made a tidy business using their creative art skills, doing specialty commissions, especially for niche fetishes, niche characters, all this type of thing. And with generative AI being able to do that very quickly, especially with a mid-journey situation or whatever have you, it makes that business a bit obsolete.
Also, that reminds you. Go ahead. I'll remember. But
I want to schedule a day where we react to shitty deviant art. Like, I'm sorry, but like, drawing a pregnant Vegeta is not some flex of your fucking skill. I've seen it. I've literally talked to a dude who's a commission artist, and he sends me his stuff, and they're like, yeah, we don't really care what it looks like. So he's literally sent clients like a shittily drawn like picture of Big Bird shitting out a dragon or some shit with like crayon, and he made like $300 off of it. Like, commissioned artists, real artists, can't get fucking jobs, so they cater to these like degenerates, which is how most people survive, because that's the only people who's paying right now.
No, I mean that's a big thing, yeah. Connor.
well, my last point on this also is it something to be upset about, or is it maybe like the people that are complaining about it, you can use the AI in the same way as anybody else.
Yeah.
And if you do have talent and skill and like love that kind of work, then now you can use AI to probably make your own job easier and still create what you like to create, instead of just whining. Like so much shit like this, unfortunately. But I do have to say is like just whining and people's inability to just accept the change of the world and move forward. Like, this is a tool that you can use to really like to benefit you, but you'd rather bitch.
Yeah. I think another thing is that we've gone through, I mean, politically and socially, a lot of progress in this country, Cam, right? Over the last couple decades.
An overwhelming amount. I think that's actually one of the problems. Come to the Cameron Visual News Hour Mondays at 7. But yes, I think one of the problems we have is a lot has changed. I always tell people my mother's childhood and my childhood was very close together. My childhood and any children that I won't be having it would be completely different worlds. I mean, because how much has changed in the last 25 years. Yeah, absolutely.
So I think that there is a general perception of, especially amongst academia, to really like kind of take these uncreative, like I call them coming out projects, because a lot of people do it. It's like, oh yeah, I made this statue of a dude taking a dildo up the ass, and it represents my gay awakening, and this is my valedictorian speech. And it's like, no, you know, don't talk about how you learned to do brain surgery. Anyway, I really fell in love with this giant rock dildo I made to stick in my statue. And, but I think anyway. But going back to the progressivism, people, artists, academia were more willing to entertain shitty art as modern art because generally that was like the accepted thing. Most people in those spaces are very liberal, and now I think that maybe there are people who aren't creatives in the traditional sense. Maybe they don't have the talent, but they have the mind, and they want to put something in Chat GPT because they can't draw worth. Maybe they got Parkinson's or some shit. They can't draw. You know, somebody wants to make a nice picture. Hey, I think this would look really cool. It's like a cat on a rainbow or something. And like, you know, it's AI can be incredibly useful. As for whether it's bad or not, I don't know, because popular cinema has taught me that AI is a bad thing, and if it gets out of control and if it becomes self-aware, I'm just saying, tech bros, shit's gonna go bad. Think about what you're doing before you do it. Yeah,
Yeah,
take some
no.
time, sit and watch Terminator. Go watch Space Odyssey. Go watch even the Disney made-for-TV kids movie, something like Safe House or
Oh,
something
Smart
like that.
House.
Smart
With
House. Smart House.
Katie Seagal. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And the
yeah.
mother like takes the kids hostage because she thinks she's real. That was a lot for a kids movie.
I know, isn't it? Yeah. And when it talks about the AI takeover, we're going to come back to that because we're going to talk about you watching The Matrix. Before we leave this topic, I want to say, as an academic, as a creative person, I've been very torn about AI, especially in it kind of came first for those of us in the writing space, and as we speak, I have an AI agent who's trained on my library writing the first draft of my international relations series that will be coming out on the Cameron Journal here soon. And so I'm very torn about AI. I think it has a lot of potential. I think it can do a lot of great things. And I use AI quite extensively in doing press and PR for the Cameron Journal. The clips from this show are clipped by AI. The clips from all my shows are clipped by AI. We have used generative footage in trailers, like the one that I attempted to queue up and not play, but that played anyway. We're rolling out AI to customers right now at Suit Media. So I'm very torn because I understand there is an environmental impact. I understand what it's doing to creativity, and it's turning something that I think for creatives is so personal into a commodity. And a very inexpensive commodity. I understand all of those things, but I also understand it also has tremendous uses. It is a tremendous tool. So, as I'm not a huge fan of AI, I don't like using it in my everyday life, but I also agree with both of you, if that makes any sense.
Makes
Like,
plenty of sense.
Yeah, there is a lot of whining, and it is a useful tool, and it does make life. That is true. I think the tech bros will probably take it too far. I think the amount of progress is difficult and troubling. I think also, and this gets into, again, come to the Cameron Journal for this, but the reality is when these changes happen, it tends to benefit a very small, very wealthy group of people. The gains of that tend not to make it out to general society, and I think that's also a difficulty a lot of people have, is that, all of this stuff is, this stuff is going to benefit you as a consumer, as a user, all this type of thing, but the wealth generated from it, the jobs created from it, all this type of thing, especially in the case of AI, is incredibly, incredibly limited. And we're already seeing AI layoffs in major enterprises. I even saw a video last night on TikTok with one guy who went so far as to say the age of the large enterprise is over. And there's even historical references when Facebook bought Instagram, they only had 14 employees. You could fit them in this house. Very cramped, but you could. I think that's where the rub for a lot of people is that all this is going to happen, all this is going to change around, but it's not like anyone outside of a handful of people is really going to benefit. I think that's definitely the difficulty I have with it, is, this is going to increase the wealth inequality that's already pretty bad. and make it a whole lot worse. And a lot of people who have bills to pay, children to raise, housing to keep, all this type of thing, are going to be disadvantaged from it. And we're already seeing the early parts of that in the job market. A couple years ago, I had a guest on the show, Stephen Fair. He said, we need to start talking about universal basic income because employment is not going to be a thing by the end of the decade. And at the time, I thought he was being ridiculous, which is odd because he's German and they're almost never ridiculous. But I thought he was kind of ridiculous
Except
for
for
saying
that one time.
Except that one time, yeah. I thought it was really ridiculous, and as it's starting to come true, which is frightening in its own weird way.
We should do tech. We should do tech and society next show.
Yeah, we could.
Yes.
I'd love to talk about this more. This is a pretty fun topic.
Yeah. So
and
before
environmental impact.
Yes, before we move into talking about The Matrix, I want to run a trailer for a new anthology being published through Soup Media. We're part of the Soupcast network. You've already seen a second of it because I was trying to quietly cue it up in the background while everyone was talking and completely ruined our segment. But we're going to run this trailer for this new anthology. I'm working on it with my curator, Marianne D'Eduardo. It's a fantasy and sci-fi themed trailer. We'll probably talk about it on the show more because I will get us free copies. So let's watch this upcoming anthology that will be coming out in early October. Let's see if this works.
Turn it back up again. I thought it was
It worked, sort of, kind of.
Well,
So-
speaking of AI, they made a lovely AI-generated video for that anthology.
No. I mean, I was saying, like, at Soup, we use a generative AI to make book trailers like the one for Fantastic Worlds. I want to mention to people, if you're audio only and you only heard some lovely music, if you want to find out more about the Fantastic Worlds anthology, not astrology, anthology, more about the anthology, do head over to soup.substack.com. And you can find the latest information on the Fantastic Worlds anthology. It will be out in October. So we will be mentioning it more as the time to release that book comes up. So yeah, we'll talk about it a little bit more. But that's kind of our very first ad, kind of, sort of. It's an in-house ad, but it's kind of our first ad. So we're breaking new ground here. I also wanted, because I didn't do really housekeeping at the top of the show because I'm not 100% today. I also wanted to mention to everyone, and not make an announcement, then we'll get into The Matrix. We are going to start taking some guests soon. So, if you have ideas of some people that we should be talking to, let us know, thelivingjoke.substack.com, and we'll see if I can send out my booking minions to book them. So that we have some new and fun changes happening with the show. We're going to keep it exciting, all this type of thing. And speaking of exciting, Will saw The Matrix for the first time this weekend, and I loved his reason for not necessarily ever watching it, because he thought it was just yet another kind of boring action movie, and had no clue there's this huge sci-fi element to it, which was right at the kind of start of the movie. And so, but we had lots of interesting chat about why this movie was a cultural phenomena. What is The Matrix? How does this world work? How are the Sentinels and managing this? How is humanity resisting? All this type of thing. So I just wanted to kind of open this for our final segment of the day and just dive into The Matrix. I had not seen the first movie in probably 10 years. So it was fun to revisit. I had not watched the first one all the way through in a while, so it was fun to revisit. But yeah, I guess, Will, we're gonna go to you first for first impressions for a Checks Calendar 26-year-old movie.
Yes. When the movie first came out, I am 32 years old, so I was 4. But even still, it missed I missed it for my generation. Early millennials got it. I did not.
I was
Um,
11, so it was a thing. Yeah.
yeah, definitely the target demographic for sure.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, yeah. But I remember seeing trailers for it when I was a kid, and remember seeing it on even on cable network USA or something. If they were running it, they would play like the little preview trailer, like coming up at 6 or something, and it would just show all the shooting and fighting. Like, I can't remember a single Matrix thing that showed any of the sci-fi shit in that movie, which is why I never saw it. I'm like, this, but now that I've seen it now, I'm like, this is infinitely more interesting to me than, and I love action movies. I love schlocky movies. That's my thing. These guys have been forced to sit through a lot, and I appreciate that they still watch movies with me.
Well, I like that kind of shit too.
No, I always I do enjoy a nice explosion from time to time myself.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, like John Woo. We
Yeah,
showed them
yeah.
Hard Boiled and The Killers.
Yes, we also went through Delta Force a couple times because you and I watched
yeah.
it, and then Connor came and we watched it again, and that was Delta Force is always fun. My dad was always into movies like that, so I do have a soft spot for them. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the giant, like, they're like, oh yeah, society is not real and we live in a computer because we're all in this like basically human pod farm.
Oh yeah.
And then Morpheus is like, oh yeah, this is like the world, right? And he like hits the little remote control. He's like, here's what the actual world looks like, and it is just a completely blown apart like hellscape with like severe apocalyptic weather, and there's giant flying like cyber tentacle squids and aliens, and there's
the
a
whole
spaceship.
world is blacked out from the sun.
And the whole world's blacked out from the, like, there's so much there, and they don't like do anything with it. Barely. Like, well, you guys are saying we're gonna watch the rest of the movies because I'm interested now. But you guys were like, they really don't do anything. They just kind of try, but
Yes.
that's it.
well, and Connor also, he's been the kind of the animatrix expert, and the animatrix goes
Yes,
much
great.
more into the background of things. Go.
Yeah, a couple of them go into the background. The first two are essentially a story of how the Matrix began, and I think this movie is great that we transitioned from the AI thing into this movie, because the premise of what happens in the beginning is that humanity is created AI, but to the level of having functioning autonomous robots that can do everything, really, that a human being can. I like that the Animatrix doesn't go in the direction of, like, a lot of the movies that play off of the AI, like iRobot, for example, is another movie. The AI always freaks out first and is, like, the cause of all the stuff. I like that the origins of the Matrix aren't really like that, and it was us humans becoming fearful of our own creation and trying to destroy it that led to the AI revolting and attacking us in the Matrix universe. I like a lot more how they show. Another thing the Animatrix shows that I think the movies don't really get into at all is people actually awakening from the Matrix. like we said, it's 6 years old. If you haven't seen it, the world is completely wiped out by robots, AI, and they use humans as fuel, essentially. But seeing more, well, literally, not essentially, literally.
Oh boy, there's. Ooh.
And then the Animatrix also gets into the characters. Some of them we see in like the Matrix 2, we'll get introduced to a few characters that the Animatrix shares their backstories, how they got woke up from the Matrix, how human beings in general. I think it'll maybe, when we watch those, Bo, we had conversation about like the programs, why they won't do certain things, and how it would potentially affect like human psyche within the Matrix.
Mm-hmm.
And it gets into that a little more as well.
Yeah, I had asked them because that was like the one thing that like maybe I had missed it, but from what they were saying, it's subtle, but it is there. And on a second watch through, I definitely would probably catch these things, but the first watch through, these guys gave me a few hints. Because I was confused. I'm like, so if the robots can do anything, like the agents can do anything, why don't they just like they can only warp around, right? But only if another person sees them, and then they like get the signal, and then will warp into the nearest, closest person they can to track down the cyber terrorists, as they call them. So they can do that, but they can't like. You can't teleport unless there's a person there, and you also like can't turn into the like if everything is not real and everything is a computer program, then you should just be able to become anything. Like they should be like basically all powerful. And they explained to me that because they mentioned it a couple times, but the Matrix has rules, and in the world of the Matrix, I mean, in that world, the fake human world the dream world, let's say, I'm sorry, my short-term memory loss has kicked in again. Oh my god.
That's okay. I'm talking about how the agents have to abide by program rules.
Oh yeah, they have to. Yeah. So the Matrix, it was programmed so that they had to act within the rules of like the world, like the real human world. So they can't become buildings. They can't fly. They just have really fast speed because they're computers. And I'm like, oh, makes a lot of sense now. I'm like, that's a cool thing. And you also pointed out the robot, which I had noticed before, that he was going rogue, the main agent.
Yeah, Smith.
He's a rogue program. Yeah, he says to Morpheus, he goes, do you know who I am? And then he's like, I'm a Smith. And I remembered like Smith means something later on, but basically like he's given himself a name. He's become self-aware enough that he wants to escape the Matrix, and none of the other agents have names that we know of. He's the only one with a name. So
none of the other agents
extra dangerous.
None of the other agents even refer to themselves with any sense of individuality whatsoever.
Yeah, he's the only one.
Oh, and also the other kind of point I added onto that, although Connor did make the better point about the agent transfer. The thing I also mentioned is it is a priority for the overlords, our new tentacled overlords, to maintain a certain integrity of the Matrix. You can't have too many miracles and supernatural things happening at once, otherwise the natives start to get restless and they start to question. That's bad. You don't ask any authoritarian leader. That's bad. So they have to abide by the rules somewhat, or if they're going to break them, they have to do it in a way that's not visible to the rest of the population, like when they seal the team in that building and brick up the windows and everything. They can, and the double cat deja vu moment, oh, they've made a change sort of thing, they did that in such a way that the average person on the street, quite literally, would not notice what they have done. And that also gets into this whole idea of, what is reality, who can change it,
Oh
do you
yeah, that's a good point.
yeah.
They could do that, like they can reprogram the world, so it's like, why can't they just reprogram it so they can walk through walls? If they have the power to just switch something, like trap them, they took all the doors away and made them all brick walls.
Because
they can't,
it
they
all
can't
has to
summon
do
a
with,
cage out of the pavement or something,
it all goes back to that they potentially could do all this stuff, but it would probably freak everybody out if they were walking down the street and then saw like 5 agents just jump out of a brick wall and like tackle somebody to the ground.
yeah.
Oh, and he
Yeah.
probably, the Smith, maybe I'm wrong, but maybe I'm on the right track here. If the Smith is too obvious about his plan, then would the other agents turn on him because they would then know he's gone rogue?
I don't know if it would be the other agents or what particularly would happen, but yes, you're correct. It's implied that he doesn't want it to be known because like we said, there's another program that's specifically designed to run the Matrix. There could be other security measures outside of the agents. So no.
The giant flying tentacle monsters?
Yeah, the Sentinels. It doesn't want the
Literally,
Sentinels
yeah.
either to know about like what it's trying to do.
Oh, yes, that's what it is. Yes, the Sentinels. He mentions that in the movie.
Well, and there's also, I think, the most important aspect of, I think the way I understood it, and I mentioned this when we talked about it, the Matrix is the operating system and Agent Smith is an app. And so he's basically an app with terminal privileges, but he can't exactly go rewrite DOS. So your terminal privileges only get you so far. You can't exactly always be rewriting the operating system. You are somewhat constrained by that in a real way. Now I think he's gone a bit beyond the line, sort of thing, and when you start getting into things that are AI generated, and then those things have their own sentience that may or may not develop and are doing things of their own, you end up with a sort of agentic problem. Yeah, there's definitely, I think, supposed to be a certain amount of certain constraints. If you're going to do something to go after terrorists, do so quietly and discreetly, so as not to disturb the normies.
And I know we've gone over a little bit. What I'm going to talk about quick in relation to the Matrix, Connor and I would like to do another episode, whether we do it on the podcast or we do a separate video for it, about how the Matrix has influenced pretty much everything in cinema.
Oh, it's everywhere. Yeah.
It's everywhere. And also, I realized something. I'm watching The Matrix last night. I'm like, oh my god, this is the plot of Final Fantasy X. And then Connor told me about the robot overlords, and I'm like, oh my god, this is the plot of Mega Man.
Yeah.
It's like literally, it is the plot of Mega Man.
And then I was like, oh my god, it is the plot of Mega Man.
No, I mean, as a pop culture force, and that was one of the things I wanted to kind of mention, The Matrix as a pop culture force is huge. It is everywhere. It's referenced constantly in popular everything downstream since the movie came out. It's referenced everywhere, and I think also it kind of put in to the public consciousness this idea of the system, how we've built society is the Matrix, and if you want to quote unquote unplug, you can do that by changing your lifestyle, moving to the woods, communing with the Unabomber, sort of thing.
Hey,
yeah, and I think that whole idea of, if you really want to be free and you don't want to be a drone, sort of thing. And this was very popular at the time. Office Space had come out by this time. This was a whole thing in the 90s. It is, then you have to kind of unplug from the system and get outside of it, and the inherent dangers are worth the real freedom to be had, even when it's hard. And that idea as a bit of story has become really part of our cultural narrative. Yeah.
That could go into another topic about the Matrix, but I'm glad you mentioned that, because there are those. That's clearly an influence on the film too, like that aspect in that time of like fight the power, fight the system.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really like how they implemented that in the Matrix, like how in the end Neo is like having who knows who he's talking to. It's meant to be like he's talking to these mysterious powers that be, and saying how he's gonna like shut down their world, but they the Sentinels, their reasoning behind doing stuff is not just like to control people. How a system of power would. You're good. I didn't know. I wasn't even dropping any spoilers, really.
No,
No
I
spoilers.
think the
For me.
other movie we should watch that is the boomer version of The Matrix is a movie called Easy Rider.
Yeah, Easy Rider. Hell
Which
yeah.
is kind of the boomer version of fight the power in the system and stay outside and be an outlaw sort of thing. About a man with a motorcycle and all this sort of thing. That also in movies of that sort of get outside the system, fight the power sort of thing, Easy Rider is tentpole. And there's also a really great one with Chris Christopherson called Convoy that was kind of about the end of independent trucking when Carter deregulated trucking.
Convoy's a great movie.
It's actually one of my favorite movies. I will rewatch it from time to time.
Smokey and the Bandit too.
Yes, actually, and my mom kind of lived that life for a while, which is kind of crazy. But she ran away with the carnival for a long time, and then lived in Vegas and worked at the old Aladdin Casino, which is now the Venetian. Anyway, yeah, there's different, but because when you were talking about how you didn't like Connor, you didn't like it was implemented in the Matrix Fight the Power thing, my thought immediately jumped to, oh yeah, Easy Rider kind of has the same problem, sort of thing.
I haven't seen it, so I'll have to watch it with you guys. And...
Yeah, we'll watch Easy Rider at some point. But
yeah, I haven't seen it in probably like 15 years. It's been a while.
Yeah, it's been a good 3 or 4. I did watch it a few years ago during the pandemic because what else was I going to do? But yes, that would be a good one to review. Well, I think the thing we're 20 minutes past the hour, so let's let these four people go. But I think after we've watched a couple more Matrix movies, we'll revisit this topic, and maybe we'll maybe rewatch this segment, and then we'll jump off and get back into some of these topics more deeply. So. And we'll also return to AI and everything as well. So this little episode is going to spawn children, is the moral of the story. Or the new little purple dinosaur jobbies in the season of Fortnite. Anyway, final thoughts, guys, before I sign us off.
Hope everyone has a good day.
Yeah.
I'll see you all around the house.
Everybody, don't look both ways before you cross the street.
It's true. Well, thank you everyone for listening to The Living Joke with Will, Connor, and Cam. If you want more content and keep up with us, please visit thelivingjoke.substack.com. You can find us on Instagram at tlj_joke. And thank you to everyone who's been watching our stuff on Instagram. We love that for you. And we love it for us more. And we will be back next Wednesday at 4 p.m. If you want to keep up with the schedule and everything, Substack is the best place to do so. The guys are streaming. Connor will be doing his usual streams on the weekend, which will include lots and lots of WoW and other stuff. So make sure to keep an eye on the Rumble channel for that, or Twitch streams. So thank you so much. We will see you next week. Have a good day.
Bye-bye.